You know what's worse than suffering? Suffering over and over. The same pattern, different people, different situations, but the same wound. Someone betrays you. You suffer. You recover. Then someone else betrays you, and you suffer again. Like it's the first time. Someone rejects you. You suffer. You rebuild. Then someone else rejects you, and you're devastated again. Like you learned nothing. Here's what Machiavelli figured out 500 years ago. You keep suffering, not because bad things keep happening. You keep suffering because you keep treating each event as if it's new. But it's not new. It's the same pattern, the same mechanism, the same wound reopened. And the Machiavellian way out? Stop treating it as new. See the pattern. And when you see the pattern, you can exit it. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you why you keep suffering and exactly how to stop. Let's start with why. Florence, 1513. Machiavelli is in exile, and he's reviewing his life. Every betrayal, every disappointment, every moment of suffering. And he notices something that changes everything. He's not experiencing different types of suffering. He's experiencing the same suffering repeatedly, over and over, with different people, different contexts, but the same wound. Someone he trusted chose their interests over loyalty. He suffered. Someone else he trusted did the exact same thing. He suffered again. Same intensity, same duration, same wound. And he asks, why am I treating this like a new trauma when it's the same pattern? And that question? That's where the way out begins. Here's why you keep suffering. And this is going to sound harsh, but stay with me. You keep suffering because you keep being surprised by predictable behavior. Someone betrays you, and you're shocked. I can't believe they did this. But Machiavelli would ask, why can't you believe it? People betray when their interests demand it. That's not shocking. That's human nature. That's the pattern. Yet you treat it like an aberration. Like this person violated some law of the universe. And that shock, that I can't believe this, that's what creates the suffering, not the betrayal. Your refusal to accept that betrayal is part of the predictable pattern of human behavior. Here's another example. Someone disappoints you, cancels plans, doesn't follow through, lets you down, and you suffer. Why do people keep disappointing me? But Machiavelli would say, they're not keeping disappointing you. You're keeping being surprised when people prioritize themselves. That's the pattern. That's what people do. And you're treating each instance like it's a shocking deviation instead of predictable behavior. And here's the brutal insight. You keep suffering because you keep expecting people to be exceptions to the pattern. This person is different. They really care. They won't betray me like the others. And then they do. And you suffer. Not because they did something unusual, but because you expected them to be an exception. And they weren't. Let me tell you when I saw this in my own life. I had someone close to me do something that hurt me, and I was devastated. How could they do this? I never expected this from them. And then I realized I'd been hurt this exact way 3 times before, by different people. Same behavior, same wound. And I was treating it like a new trauma, like this was a fresh betrayal that I couldn't have predicted. But it wasn't new. It was the same pattern. I just kept expecting different people to be exceptions to it. That's why you keep suffering. You keep treating predictable patterns as shocking surprises. Now here's the Machiavellian way out. And it's simpler than you think. Stop treating patterns as surprises. See the pattern, accept the pattern, and stop expecting exceptions. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But what he really meant was, understand the pattern of human nature. Don't expect people to violate their nature for you. They won't. They never have. They never will. The pattern is this: people act in their own interests, always. When interests align with loyalty, they're loyal. When interests conflict with loyalty, they choose interests. That's not evil. That's not shocking. That's the pattern. And you keep suffering because you keep expecting people to violate this pattern for you, to choose loyalty over interests, to choose you over themselves when it costs them something significant. But they don't. And when they don't, you're devastated. I can't believe they did this. But you should believe it, because it's the pattern. It's what people do. It's what they've always done. And here's the way out. Accept the pattern. Stop expecting exceptions. And when people behave according to the pattern, you're not surprised. You're not shocked. You're not suffering. You're just observing. They acted according to the pattern, as expected. And when you see behavior as pattern instead of surprise, suffering stops. Not because the behavior changes, but because you've stopped creating suffering through shock at predictable behavior. I remember the moment this shifted for me. Someone did something that would have devastated me a year earlier, and I just observed. They're acting according to the pattern. People choose their interests when stakes are high enough. No shock, no suffering, just observation of the pattern playing out exactly as it always does. That's the Machiavellian way out. See the pattern, accept it, stop expecting exceptions. And suffering ends, not because you've become cynical, but because you've stopped being surprised by predictability. Machiavelli spent years observing human nature, and what he documented was simple. There's a pattern. People follow it. The ones who suffer are the ones who keep expecting exceptions. The ones who don't suffer, they see the pattern. They accept it. They operate within it, without expecting violations of it. That's the way out. And now, let me show you how to apply it. So how do you actually stop suffering by seeing the pattern? Let me show you in two specific contexts. When someone betrays you, this is where we most expect exceptions. We think, this person is different. They won't betray me. And when they do, we suffer. Not just from the betrayal, but from the violation of our expectation that they'd be an exception. Here's how you apply the Machiavellian way out. Next time someone betrays you, and they will, pause before you suffer. And ask yourself, is this surprising? Or is this the pattern? Be honest. Did they betray you because they're uniquely terrible? Or because their interests conflicted with loyalty to you and they chose interests? Like people do. Like the pattern predicts. Almost always, it's the pattern. They're not an exception. They're not unusually cruel. They just followed the predictable pattern of human behavior. Interests trump loyalty when stakes are high enough. And when you see it as pattern instead of surprise, something shifts. You're not devastated. You're not spending days asking, how could they do this? You already know how. The pattern. The same pattern you've seen before. The same pattern Machiavelli documented 500 years ago. And your response changes. Instead of suffering, you observe, they followed the pattern, as people do. And you adjust. You recalibrate trust. You change your behavior based on their revealed priorities. But you don't suffer, because you're not shocked by predictable behavior. Let me be clear. This doesn't mean betrayal doesn't matter. It means you're not creating additional suffering by treating predictable behavior as shocking deviation. You can still make decisions. I don't want people in my life who betray confidence. Fine, remove them. But do it from observation of pattern, not from suffering over violated expectations of exception. That's the way out. See the pattern. Stop expecting exceptions. And betrayal becomes data, not trauma. When someone disappoints you, the second context is disappointment. Someone doesn't show up, doesn't follow through, doesn't meet your expectations, and we suffer because we expected them to be reliable, to prioritize us, to be different than unreliable people we've known before. Here's how you apply the way out. Someone disappoints you. Before you suffer, ask, is this their first time, or is this their pattern? If it's their first time, it might be an anomaly. But if they've disappointed you before, if they've shown you who they are repeatedly, then this isn't surprising. This is pattern. And you keep suffering because you keep expecting them to violate their pattern. This time will be different. This time they'll show up. This time they'll follow through. But they don't. Because patterns don't change just because you expect them to. And the Machiavellian way out? Stop expecting pattern violations. See who people are. Accept who people are. And stop being surprised when they behave exactly as they've always behaved. Someone's chronically late? They'll be late. That's their pattern. Don't suffer every time it happens. You know the pattern. Plan accordingly. Someone's unreliable with commitments? They'll be unreliable. That's their pattern. Don't keep being disappointed. You know what to expect. This isn't about lowering standards. It's about aligning expectations with reality. With patterns. With what people actually do, not what you wish they'd do. And when your expectations align with patterns, disappointment becomes impossible. Because you're expecting exactly what happens. I had a friend who was chronically unreliable, would cancel last minute, wouldn't follow through, and I'd be disappointed every time. Until I asked myself, is this surprising? Or is this his pattern? It was his pattern. Clear, consistent, predictable. So I stopped expecting reliability from someone whose pattern was unreliability, and the disappointment stopped. Not because he changed, but because I stopped expecting him to violate his pattern. That's the way out. In betrayal, see the pattern of self-interest. In disappointment, see the pattern of behavior. And stop expecting people to violate their patterns for you, because they won't. And suffering comes from expecting they will. So what actually changes when you see the pattern and stop expecting exceptions? 3 things happen immediately. First, you stop repeating the same suffering, because you're no longer treating each event as a new trauma. You see it as the pattern playing out. And patterns don't wound you, they inform you. Someone betrays you, and instead of weeks of anguish, you observe the pattern again, and you adjust without suffering. Second, you become genuinely hard to surprise. And if you can't be surprised, you can't be hurt. Because hurt requires shock. Hurt requires, I can't believe this happened. But when you see patterns, nothing shocks you. You can believe it happened. Because the pattern predicted it. People act in their interests. That's the pattern. When it happens, you're not shocked. You expected it. And expectation without violation means no suffering. And third, you stop wasting energy trying to make people be exceptions. You stop hoping this person will be different. You stop trying to be special enough that they violate their pattern for you. You just see who they are, accept who they are, and interact with them accordingly. This doesn't make you cynical. It makes you realistic. Machiavelli wasn't cynical. He was observant. He saw patterns that idealists refused to see, and that observation protected him. After his exile, he wrote, "I have learned to see things as they are, not as I wish them to be." That's the shift. See patterns as they are, not as you wish they were. And suffering from violated expectations becomes impossible. Because you're not expecting violations of patterns. You're expecting patterns to continue. And when they do, you're informed, not wounded. That's what changes. You stop suffering repeatedly over the same pattern. You become unsurprised by predictable behavior. And you stop trying to make people be exceptions. Now here's what you do with this. Here's why you keep suffering. You keep treating patterns as surprises. And here's the Machiavellian way out. See the pattern. Accept it. Stop expecting exceptions. So, here's what you'll do. Today, think about the last time you suffered, really suffered, and ask yourself, was this surprising? Or was this the pattern? Be brutally honest. Did this person do something completely unprecedented? Or did they follow a pattern you've seen before, either from them or from others? Almost always, it's the pattern. You just treated it like a surprise. And here's the shift. Next time you see the pattern starting to play out, don't be surprised. Don't expect an exception. Just observe the pattern, as predicted. And watch what happens. The suffering that would have lasted days or weeks, it doesn't come because you're not shocked by predictable behavior. That's the way out. See the pattern. Stop expecting exceptions. And suffering over repeated patterns ends, not because people change, but because you stop being surprised by who they've always been. Apply it once, today, and you'll see what Machiavelli saw. Suffering is optional when you stop expecting exceptions to patterns.